win, but do you feel that you can be satisfied with your performance in the first ATP final?
Well, I mean, I think it was a great final. First of all, it was an amazing feeling to go out there today and be able to play tennis like that. Of course, it's a nice feeling. I mean, I'm not 100% satisfied, of course, but I have to say well done to Andy. I mean, he played some really good tennis today when he had to. So it was actually a lot of fun going out there today, and I think we both did a great game. But I mean, he stepped up, so I think definitely he's the winner today.
What was the difference, do you think?
I think a few points here and there. I was up a break, and I was actually not playing a bad tennis at all, I thought. But I mean, he's one of the best returner in the game by far, and he picked up a couple of my serves on a big point. So I think that gave him even an extra confidence, and then he stepped up with his serve. And I mean, he's a top guy eventually, so he has his rhythm, his routine on court. So when he has to play good, he plays good, and he pulled out some really good shots when he had to. So I didn't feel that I was far from winning the set or even the match, but still that was a little margin that he got covered.
Being your first finals here in Brisbane, was there a feeling of nerves going out there on the court?
I didn't feel nervous actually at all. I just I felt actually quite good to actually slept pretty good last night. So I thought it was like, wow, well, you're not that nervous before finals anymore. So even though it was my first in ATP, so it was a good feeling waking up and going to breakfast. And I in general had a great day before that, and I figured you just go out on court today and try to win the match.
5-3, you're serving for the first set. A few minutes later, you didn't win a point in the tiebreaker. Does that just explain the difference between a player with his ranking and yours, or was it a lack of experience, or what do you put that down to?
No, I think he put himself into a great state of mind that he didn't miss one ball after that. Even my coach came after the match and he says, well, after that game he didn't miss a ball, and I thought about it, and he actually really didn't miss one ball afterwards. He made me play a lot of shots, called the line a couple of times when he had to, and here you are, you're down 2 breaks in the breaker, so there's actually not much else you can do afterwards. He served big when he had to. I mean, of course, experience talks, of course. I mean, at certain moments, and he got the momentum of the match, especially the first set, so that's why he closed it up so well. And even so, I didn't feel that I was far, but the way he composed himself into the tiebreak and the way he came out in the tiebreak was just different, and that made him win it.
Grigor, so you get up in the second set 4-3, you get the break. Did you expect him to come back in that next game and just play great?
I knew that he's gonna come up with some serious returns, and even though when I was 30 love up on my serve, I knew that the game wasn't over, or anything like that. And next thing you know, he does 3 returns, and I'm like, whoa! I knew it anyway. So, but I have to give all the credit to him today. I mean, he played a really good match.
Grigor, mentally you seem to have a great maturity and composition, not to get nervous in front of such a big opponent. What do you think it's going to take for you to actually reach the final of a major now?
Well, even same amount of work, even more. I mean, I played here 5 matches, his best of 3 sets, and I felt quite okay going to the final and all that. But a major is a completely different story. I think I still need a couple of years on a tour to get even stronger and be able to even hang with his guys all the weeks, and especially you're playing best of 5 sets. So that's it's not an easy task. You got to play 7 matches, best of 5. Well, after quarters, after the 3rd round, I think it's mind over matter, and why not do this as soon as possible? And that's what you have the Grand Slams for.
Grigor, do you think you have maybe those 3, 4, 5, 3 out of 5 set matches in you for Melbourne, or do you still feel physically that if you get involved in a couple long ones that you're not quite there yet?
No, I mean we have day off after every match, so I think that gives you a perfect time to to get ready for the next match and think for your next opponent and all that. But I think when you play Grand Slam, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon anyway. So uh, you have to have definitely a certain game plan coming to every match and knowing the opponent what you got to do at this particular moment. So that makes it easier, whoever you play. So I think everything is adjustable and you got to go day by day.
Do you have a target from how far you want to go in month?
As far as possible, definitely. Yeah, I'm playing Sydney next week. My body's feeling quite okay for now, and let's see how things would go in Sydney for me. But definitely, my main goal would be to go out in Melbourne and get ready mentally and physically for a long run.
It's a great start for the year. Where do you see your strengths and weaknesses looking forward?
Well, at the moment, this is the first tournament, and everyone feels fresh. Everyone wanted to play a couple of matches here and there. There's not much you can say at the moment, but I think definitely with every match or every tournament that you play, you could see that you'd see where you can where there's room for improvement and what you can do better on court and against the opponent and all that. Because at some point you have that that you've played with most of the players on the tour, so you got to play them week in and week out. So I think with the time you get your right rhythm, and then you understand yourself and your game better.
Twitter isn't a state of excitement because an ESPN correspondent has tweeted that you and Maria are not confirmed as an item.
What about that? I never talk about my private. Yeah. Sorry.
So what did this week show you about yourself and about your potential going forward?
This week was definitely an exciting week for me. I'm not gonna hide that. I felt good the whole week, and I did quite a few changes in my routines, in my daily routines, in the way I was practicing and all that. So that actually gave me an extra, like a fresh air, so I could actually step up and be like, okay, I gotta play matches, and I accept to play whoever it is, and go out there and do your best.
Is there such a thing as too many matches leading to a Grand Slam? I mean, if you go to Sydney next week and reach another final, is that too much for you, or do you think you can handle that sort of workload?
No, that's okay, and I think everything is in your head in a way, because, okay, Melbourne is the most important thing. Yeah, it is, but if you play a tournament, you gotta play the tournament. So you're there to play the tournament, and I don't put any restriction on myself on being like, oh, I gotta save some energy for that. If I'm there, I'm going for 100%, and okay, if it's not the time, if I feel something is going on during the match and stuff, of course you're gonna say, okay, that's enough, and then you're looking for the next one. That's the good thing in tennis. You always have a next week. But if you want to reach the top, if you want to be where the big guys are, I don't think you should have that sort of mind. Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about the top four. What do you think differentiates the top four from the rest?
The difference, sorry?
Yeah, what differentiates the top four from the rest of the players?
Well, everything. The guys are they're just stronger. I think they're more experienced. I think there's not there's not big difference between all the top 10 guys in the 20s, but there's always a little something that when you play the match they come up with, or they bring it out when they have to. Whether it's gonna be a break point or what they're gonna do under pressure. Like for example, today I had a set point in the first set, and they asked me 209 wide, so I was like, okay, and this is like a small, it's such a small gap between it, but actually makes the biggest difference.
Knowing that if you were to draw one of them in Melbourne, is there anything you do differently?
If I play against Andy or in general?
Andy or any of those?
Well, I think you have a little advantage playing them in the first round, because they still haven't had any matches for the year. Okay, they play a couple of exhibition matches here and there, but it's not the same when you have the match situation. It's not fun to play them in the first round anyway, but I think you have a little more chance back then.
Out of Andy, Roger, and Novak, who do you fear the most?
Fear?
Yeah.
Why fear?
Well, or who would you most feel intimidated by if you were to come up against them?
Why do I have to feel intimidated? I want to play them. So, I don't know. I want to play them all. Of course. I mean, I think it's nothing better to play against these guys and you know, do the best you can against them. Because eventually, in the long term, if you want to be good, you're going to play them almost every week that the tournament is, yeah.
Grigor, you were saying he's one of the best returner servers in the world. When you're serving against him, do you feel like you can fool him at all, or do you feel like he's reading you all the time?
No, of course I can ace him here and there, but I think in general he's one of these guys that he just reads your serve. He reads your serve, and he knows his way around on the return. That's for sure. And even though I knew that he's gonna go to certain ways and stuff, I knew that I gotta expect the ball to come back. And even when I had games on 40 love, even though it was 40 love, I knew that the game wasn't over till I don't win the game. So it always makes it tougher for the server.